days away until preseason kickoff against the LA Rams. That kickoff is at 3 p.m., but we still have a lot of action here in Oxnard, California for training camp. A lot of fun things going down on Thursday with joint practice with the LA Rams as well. Welcome into Inside Cowboys training camp presented by Ford. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Kyle Youmans. And Kyle, the Cowboys are still shopping, right? They've added some more depth to that linebacker room. What does that depth just do for this room?
Well, it's new, which is the one thing about it, because last year at this time we were talking about one or two guys in that room that you felt comfortable with. It was Leighton Vander Esch and Damone Clark. DeMarvion Overshown up until his injury against the Seattle Seahawks in the preseason. But now you look at that room, and though there's a ton of inexperience outside of Eric Kendricks, I think they have more confidence in the rotation because, yes, you get Damone Clark back, a full season under his belt, both as a will linebacker and as a Mike linebacker, so he has both of that versatility kind of under his belt. But then you've also got Eric Kendricks in the fold, and you signed two guys as well on Tuesday in order to continue that look at the linebacker spot. I like what they're doing. They're building rotation. They're building a room, and they're building around this inexperience with a teachability too, with a coachability from Mike Zimmer, Eric Kendricks, almost an extension of the coaching staff on the field. I'm really excited about this linebacker.
The Cowboys have signed Darius Harris and Nick Vigil. Nick Vigil being a more experienced guy. You talk about that experience and adding that veteran presence. He spent some time with the Bengals. Just adding a little bit more experience, what does that do?
It adds a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, right now Eric Kendricks has more tackles for loss, and sacks than the rest of the linebacker room combined. And it really wouldn't even be close except for Damian Wilson has played 9 seasons in the NFL. So seeing that experience added with Vigil brings just another voice to listen to. You like what Maris Leofau has done, the rookie out of Notre Dame. You like what some of these other bodies have done, like Buddy Johnson in the middle. Amani Johnson's done a nice job too. You're going to play Micah Parsons back and forth, but I would still categorize him as an edge rusher. Experience always helps youth further their career, and I think right now that's what they're trying to build on.
In order to add that depth, the Cowboys had to waive Byron Vaughn's rookie out of Baylor, but moving on to the defensive tackle position, the Cowboys added Albert Huggins, who spent some time with the Atlanta Falcons, just adding more depth to that DT room. I mean, that was kind of crucial as well.
Yeah, and they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
A lot of times the best linebackers in the NFL are aided by some of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. So having both guys at both positions and depth and a rotation at both positions is ultimately going to help you out. It's a long season. You need guys like Mozzie Smith to step up. You drafted Justin Rogers. You have some depth there with Osa Odighizuwa, but you want to add some more fresh legs, to say. Put them in the middle and have that experience play in your favor.
Add some fresh legs. Also add some new faces here in Oxnard. New faces come to town on Thursday. The LA Rams, a joint practice with the Cowboys. Up next, we have Isaiah Stanback, who's on the call for the preseason game to break that down.
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. This segment is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
We're less than 24 hours away into the LA Rams make the 65-mile trip to Oxnard, California for joint practice and a scrimmage with the Dallas Cowboys, so we finally get a chance to see how the Cowboys match up with another NFL team. Welcome back into Inside Cowboys Training Camp. Nicole Hutchison, Isaiah Stanback, Kyle Youmans, and this segment is brought to you by Sleep Number, but ain't no sleeping here in Oxnard. We got a lot of action coming to you on Thursday for that joint practice and joint scrimmage. Just, Isaiah, I've got to start with this. How valuable are those practices in those scrimmages ahead of a preseason game?
Well, they're huge because as a player, throughout the first part of training camp, all you know is going against your teammates. And all you know is they're pretty much all scripted. All the plays are scripted. The defensive coordinators are scripting plays. The offensive coordinators are scripting plays. So a lot of times it might be in the favor of the offense or the defense. when you're going against a real team, another team, there's no script, right? You're going out. This is about as close to game action as a lot of these starters are going to get. First team, even some of the second team guys, as they might not touch the field in the preseason. So you can best believe the guys are going to be playing with their hair on fire, and they're going to be looking to get some realistic licks because this will be the only chance they get before the regular season.
And Mike McCarthy's been very adamant about this throughout his time with the Cowboys because we've had joint practices with the Rams before, Denver, Los Angeles. I mean, there's plenty of different ways to have these joint practices benefit your football team. What do you want to see out of this team going into that joint practice tomorrow?
You want to see camaraderie. You want to see execution. Obviously, from the coach's standpoint, they just finished up install, so you want to see these guys play with confidence and just do things the right way. You've been seeing a lot of fights in other camps. That's not something that you want to get into. It's almost inevitable because of the fact that you're tired, you're sore, it's competitive. But you want to just see guys go out there and execute the way that you've been installing and see progress instead of any regression.
That's something that also Mike McCarthy did mention. He said it doesn't show toughness. It just shows lack of discipline. So certainly something that he mentioned. But gearing towards the running backs, what do you want to see out of those guys?
I want to see these guys get downhill. All right? I want to see them go forward, cross the line of scrimmage, protect the ball, make decisive moves. At the line of scrimmage, being able to find the holes. These offensive linemen, it's a relatively new group, okay, with some moving pieces there. So you want to see these guys be able to obviously get some movement up there. But for these running backs, what's really going to be the deciding factor for them is who does not turn the ball over and who's able to execute their assignments the way in which they're being coached up.
And really, this is a great look at the running back position too, because this has been thudding up. You keep them upright all the way through. It's different when there's another team trying to tackle you. What other position group should we keep an eye on going into tomorrow?
I think you have to look at the tight end position. I think for sure, obviously, Jake Ferguson is kind of the known factor right there at the tight end position. Outside of that, I think it's kind of up for grabs. You got Luke Schoonmaker, who still has a lot to prove, obviously coming off of being a second-round draft pick. He's had some injuries earlier in camp. John Stevenson's coming off an injury. You have Brevin Ford, Span Ford that's coming into the fold as well. So I think that room is kind of the question mark right now, as you know that this team likes to use 2 and 3 tight end sets.
Well, this offense gets their first test on Thursday, but Mike Zimmer gets his first test as well. We'll see if what he's been cooking up here in Oxnard is good enough for this LA Rams offense. We'll be right back.
This segment was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
We're here to wrap things up on Inside Cowboys Training Camp presented by Ford, Nicole Hutchison, and Kyle Youmans. Now, Kyle, we've talked offense. Now we've got to talk defense. Mike Zimmer has been cooking things up all offseason and in training camp. How much of a big test will this be for this Mike Zimmer defense so far?
It's going to be a test. I think the Rams, no matter what happened in the past, no matter what happened last year, it's still Sean McVay calling the plays. And they've still got an offense that's lethal. They won't have Puka Nacua available in this practice. He hurt his knee earlier in the week. We thought maybe he could have made it out to Oxnard and been available. That would have been a nice test as well, I think, for this Cowboys defense. But they still have a solid wide receiver core. They have some tight ends they can throw the football to. Kyron Williams behind the line of scrimmage, a really good running back, one of the leading rushers in the NFL last year. They will test this Dallas defense, and they will continue to do so throughout the joint practice because, like Isaiah was saying, the offense, it's not scripted. The defense, it certainly isn't scripted as well. They're going to have to read and react to what Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay are throwing at them.
What are you looking to see out of Mozzie Smith? Because this is a guy who obviously has shown some promise throughout training camp so far, and looking forward to really having a big year. He needs it. He needs it this year.
Well, the last time we saw a first-round defensive tackle on the field in Oxnard in a joint practice, his name was Aaron Donald. Now, I don't think Mozzie Smith's going to have Aaron Donald effect, and even though Cowboys fans would love to see that from Mozzie Smith, you want to keep seeing improvement. You want to see him stack good days upon good days. I really like what he did in Tuesday's practice. He had some wins in individual drills. He was moving the line of scrimmage against Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass, some of the starters for this Cowboys offensive line. I really like what I've seen in his growth. He just has to continue that moving forward.
We have seen some good things throughout training camp so far. Hopefully that carries over onto Thursday. Make sure to watch Training Camp Live. We'll have that coverage from the scrimmage and practice all day, so make sure to tune into DallasCowboys.com.
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, was brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.